I'm
Hello.
John Hemingway, and this is Hemingway's Parle. Today we've got as our guest Antonella Cosentino, direct from Milan.
Hello, everyone.
Fantastic. And we've also got Christopher there, the guy who is in charge of all the things technical and not. Okay.
Oh,
So,
so I get blamed for the past 20 minutes? Okay.
yeah, no, that was my bobo. Yeah. So let's see. You have a list of questions there, Christopher, or so they tell me.
Or so they tell you, yes. Yes. That special thank you to
The
Debbie, our
higher ups, the
assist.
corporate,
Yes, Debbie, our assistant, and everything else.
Debbie,
So,
Debbie, yeah.
Antonella, you have known John for quite a long time now.
Yeah,
When did
24
you
years.
first meet? 24 years.
Yeah,
When did you
24
first meet?
years. We met here in Milano in a park because I have a daughter the same age as John's Michael, son, and we were at the park with our toddlers. We were playing on the grass, and I first met his first wife, Ornella, and so we start talking. And
I only had two wives. Okay, I'm a Mormon. It's legit. Okay.
that's right.
Mhm.
And so we met, and I remember that when we met, he said, "Hi, I'm John. Hi, I'm Antonella." And after a few months, I knew that he was Hemingway. And I thought, oh,
I
Hemingway,
didn't tell you. Oh,
don't tell me. You were John and Ornella with Michael, and I was Antonella with Sarah and Mavio. And I thought, wow, it's impossible that he can be that Hemingway here in Italy, because he was normal. He was dressed casually with trousers, trainers, sweater. So I thought, oh, it's another Hemingway. Like in Italy, we have a lot of Rossi and
a lot of what? False what?
Rossi, a surname very used in Italy.
Oh, Rossi,
Okay.
yeah.
And so when Ornella told me, no, he is that Hemingway. And I said, are you kidding me? It's impossible. Because I knew Ernest Hemingway. So it was very, how can I say, it was impossible that an Hemingway was living in Italy and in Milano, and that I know him. So
Well,
it
I mean,
was,
he was in Milano, for a while in a hospital. That is.
So,
yeah, but
something tells me she didn't meet him there.
No.
no.
Maybe she did. Maybe he was alive for all that time and just getting older and older and older. And the nurses would come in and give him an injection of long life juice or something like that.
So, so you knew Ernest.
I knew as a writer Ernest Hemingway, yeah.
Okay. But so you didn't know. Okay. I was going to say, you didn't quite look like you were, age-wise, it didn't look like you would know him.
No.
Maybe Anto was one of his wives.
His works.
Okay.
His novels.
His works. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, not him, of course. And so we started our friendship 24 years ago.
34 years ago. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and forgive me, what do you do in Italy?
This very moment, I'm a very relaxed housewife.
Housewife.
Yeah. Not desperate, relaxed, enjoying life.
Enjoying life.
Yeah, I was a proofreader many years ago before COVID. I worked for my husband, who has a company of audiovisual services, translating services. In fact, you, John, worked for him as a freelance translator. Do you remember?
Really?
Yeah.
I can't even remember the translations I was doing. Were they technical translations?
I don't remember really. You have to ask Mavio. But he told me that you made 2 or 3 translations for him. Text translation. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, because I
that's
know
And
you taught English over there.
yeah, I did that. Teaching what they called ESL, English as
Hmm.
a second language. And in the beginning, I didn't know anything about teaching. I was relearning the grammar, that was it as I was going along. Well, that was back in the early 80s, and they weren't very, I mean, anyone who could speak English, and I don't care where they were from in the English speaking world, that was fine. Okay. You're my English teacher. Okay. And none of us knew how to teach. And so it was great. It was, I mean,
So,
Italy was very unregulated in many respects. Okay.
so Antonella, you said no, your husband is Mavio.
yeah, his name is Massimo Flavio, but his
Okay.
nickname is Mavio. I met him in England. And the first time I saw him, he said, "I'm Massimo Flavio." Like he is Milanese. He's a real Milanese. And he said, "I'm Massimo Flavio, but my friends call me Mavio." And I tell a friend of mine, "No, no, no, we can leave this young man. He's not my friend because he was so toffee nosed at that time." And then we got married after 4 years. I'm not from Milano. I'm from the south of Italy. I'm from
Did
Bari.
did your mother and father approve of Mavio when you brought him over to?
They approved Mavio, but I remember my great grandmother told me, "Well, Mavio is a good boy. It's a pity that he's from Milano because we are from the south and there are different traditions, different way of seeing life, and so and we are very and now I'm very far from home because Bari is my home. I'm nine 9 hours driving from home, so it's it's quite a distance.
You don't
Um,
fly there, maybe? No, ever?
Sometimes, yeah, I always took a flight, but after COVID, we discovered driving through Italy, through Europe, and I prefer go by car.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
yeah, even if it's very long to arrive there. So
Now, forgive me, John.
Yes.
John started talking and it walked over top there. Where are you
Mhm.
from originally in Italy?
Bari, Puglia,
The
Puglia.
if
Okay.
Italy is a boot, it's the heel.
yeah,
It's the
the
okay.
hill of Italy. It's very
Okay.
no in Puglia, which is a beautiful region near the sea, and now is one of the favorite spot. What I don't remember the exact word.
The
I mean,
favorite places for tourism there?
the favorite
Tourism.
destination
Yeah.
Destination, huh? Okay.
for American, British people, because it's very warm, sunny, with beautiful places to visit. You've been to Puglia, you can tell, John.
Oh yeah, no, I've been there. It's stunning, especially on the what would that be? The east side. You have these cliffs that go down into this water, which is just an amazing blue, and you see actually people diving off, into these what look like almost lakes of turquoise water, colored water. It's so nice. And the food, well, just everything in Italy is fantastic. I mean, you can't go wrong. Especially the desserts, the sweets, and everything are quite nice. Oh, and then the architecture, the trulli. Remember those? Yeah, that is extremely different from just about anything you'll ever see. Yeah.
They now belong to UNESCO heritage, the
Mm-hmm.
Trulli. Mm-mm-mm. And you can tell Chris that we don't eat fettuccine alfredo, we don't eat spaghetti with meatballs. They are not Italian dishes.
So what would be a typical dish from Puglia?
No,
Cos'è? C'è un piatto tipico della Puglia?
orecchiette con le cime di rapa.
Ah, cimi di rape, right, yeah. Orecchietti? Okay.
Translate now. Orecchiette con cime di rapa.
Okay. Well, little ears with, what are those green things called? I don't know.
They are like broccoli, but they are not broccoli.
It's sort of a weird Italian broccoli. Yeah, okay, there we go.
Okay.
People are going to get a lot of. I'm going to get a lot of comments for that.
Panzerotti. Do you have panzerotti in New York? Panzerotti.
Ah, but what about those things that were in the rum? Il baba rum. Okay.
They are from Naples, but they
Yeah.
are very good, very tasty. Yeah.
I remember getting a bottle of those when we were in Puglia. Okay. And taste. Oh, they were just really nice. Okay. You could get drunk and, I don't know, fat and tooth decay all in one bang. So, have you read, what was it? Have you read Strange Tribe? My book? The one about my dad?
Are you asking me? Yes.
Yes.
I was the first one who bought your book.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
And I've spread it all over Puglia. To my mother, to my friends. We all know Strange Tribes.
Well,
and I remember that when you were here in Milano, you wrote a lot of articles about your family, about your uncle, and I think that all those articles were useful for you to write the book.
oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, the book I wrote and actually finished there. Yeah. I wasn't in Milano when I finished. I was in Monza, but yeah, absolutely. Would you say that my family was typical in the sense that it was similar to the average Italian family?
No, I don't think so. No. Your family is quite unique. It's not the average, like an average Italian family. That's for sure. You are an average, like an average Italian man. You are, what can I say? You assimilated to Italian civilization, culture, and tradition when you were here in Milano.
So,
yeah, I think
in che senso? I mean, how was I assimilated
you
into?
look like Italian because you were always with us, so you absorbed our Italianity. I can say that, and so
it's a word now.
Yeah, it's a word. You were.
Italian. I can't even remember what the word was. It sounds strange. Anyway.
Well, an Italianish. I don't.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So I think that you are you are more keen to our way of life, our culture, because when we met, I knew that you were American because you spoke American, but you were like us. You were very fond of your child, of Michael. I remember that. Every morning you were with Michael before he entered a school with Sarah. Every afternoon you were there for Michael. You were waiting for Michael, like us. So you were a typical Italian dad, even if you were American.
Yeah, Michael used to like to drive his tricycle, but not look in front. He would always look on the side like this, and so I'd always have to keep him from, going out into the street or whatever else.
And Sarah and Michael and Sarah always climbed on the trees, the small trees that were outside the preschool when we were at the Trotter Park. We met at the Trotter Park. Then they went to another school. They attended another school, a real school, like Sarah said. My daughter is called Sarah. Mama is a real school.
It's interesting because it was located in this park, which at one point had been a racetrack for what is it? You know, when you're riding on they have a horse which is hitched up to a carriage, and it goes along with that. And then eventually they made it into a park, and in that park they put that school, and it was, I guess you could call it a kindergarten back in the day, because they were both, what, 4 years old, I think, when they went there?
3 years old.
3 years. Oh, yeah, it's true. Yeah, they were very young. Yeah.
They start preschool at 3 years old. But Michael and Sarah went to a preschool, if you remember.
Mm-hmm.
It was Tempo per le Famiglie.
Oh, right. Yeah, it was basically to take the kids, you know, give us a break, a bit of breathing, you know, areas. Like, I don't know, to take a break, basically. And they were only in there for a couple of hours a day, I think. Yeah.
3 or 4 hours, 3 times a week, in order to make the kids socialize among themselves. And we sent our kids there, and then to preschool, and after 3 years to we call it scuola elementare. I don't know which grade it is in America.
Well, that would be elementary school. You know, you're usually about 6 years old or something like that. Yeah.
6 years old.
Yeah.
All right.
And I remember Michael, you know, learned how to speak perfect Italian with a perfect Milanese accent when he was there in school.
Yeah. I remember that. And they if you remember, at the elementary school, they had an hour a day of English. And I remember one day Michael came home and said, Dad, the teacher told me, I don't remember, it was ringbinder. I don't know what's a ringbinder.
Oh, binder. Okay. It was I had these notebooks from UCLA or something like that, and I said, yes, it's a ring binder. Or no, that isn't even it. It's the thing where you put in files or something like that. That's a ring binder. You know, it opens up and closes. I don't even know if they use them in offices anymore, but
the teacher told him, no, it's a ring binder.
Oh, the teacher said this to him.
And so Michael was so perplexed. A ring binder.
This is when he was going to first grade, or
first grade, primo anno di scuola elementare.
Okay, yeah.
Elementary school. They were 6 years old.
Oh, okay.
Because then you
kindergarten, first grade.
Then you moved to Monza.
Yeah, we moved to Monza. Yeah.
It's near Milano. And then you moved to Spain and to France, if I remember well.
Yeah, we were in Spain for a year, and he was going to an English-Spanish school there. And then we stayed in the Medoc area, north of city of Bordeaux. And he started learning French a bit, but we didn't stay there too long. We then moved to Canada. Yeah. And that was that.
And explain your experience in Spain. Do you notice some differences between Italian and Spanish people? Which one do you prefer? Italian one, Spanish line?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think in many ways, it might be more easy to socialize in Spain if you're just coming there, you know, if you're not with a group of friends and everything. But I think the same is true in Spain. They tend to have a group of friends that they go out with and stuff like that, you know. I lived in Malaga, and Malaga was quite different from, say, Madrid. Okay, yeah, things were slower there, you know, more agricultural or whatever, you know. But very friendly, you know. I'll say that. Yeah, absolutely.
more than more than the people from Milano.
Milano is another world entirely, really, because Milano is the place where everyone from all over Italy would go for work. Okay, so you could actually find, a native Milanese was difficult, because.
My husband is a native Milanese.
Mm-hmm.
So you met one.
Mm-hmm. Well, for instance, Ornella's cousins, grew
Yeah.
up in Milano, but their parents were not. They were from, let's see, the mothers were from Emilia Romagna. Okay.
Yeah.
And, well, I mean, look, they were my relatives at that point, so I mean, it was different. But Milano, I liked because it was probably the only place in the country where you could seriously, start a business, and it wasn't sort of, it was more on merit, sort of thing like that. Although there was a lot of sort of nepotism, but it was the big city. It is the big business city, and still is that. I think,
Yeah.
Rome has always been a capital, a political place. Whereas Milano was,
It's well organized Milano.
Lavora. Yeah. It's well organized. Yeah. They had very good hospitals, compared to other places, perhaps in Italy.
Transportation is very well organized. The weather is not so good.
The weather is horrible. Yeah. In the winter, it's cold and humid, and in the summer, it's hot and humid.
Morning it was very foggy. There was in Milanese is shigera, the fog.
A shigera? I
Yeah.
didn't even know that one. Yeah, Milanese is a dialect which takes from, I think, Spanish, Italian, German, just about a little bit about everything. Okay, it's very colloquial. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chapasu, kale un beiju, all that sort of stuff.
Milanese is too difficult for me, even if Barese, the dialect of Bari, is like Arab. It's very difficult.
Oh yeah, the southern dialects are very different from the north. In fact, at times I wonder, has Italy ever really been unified since the fall of Rome? I mean, it's
quite unified, because there are a lot of differences between the north and the south of Italy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we think we southern people think to be very smart. So, and now we are friendly, more friendly in the south of Italy. We are like the Spanish people.
Mm-hmm.
And here in Milano, they are not so friendly. They are very cold at the beginning.
Yeah, it probably has a lot to do with the weather and everything, because you can get a lot of rainy days, a lot of foggy days in the fall, that sort of stuff.
More Montanari, because we are near the mountains.
Mm-hmm.
While in Puglia we are near the sea, so it's very different, and we are more friendly. We are more. We are a little bit smart, because we have can we say, a merchant. We have the mind of the merchants, because
yeah, most port cities are like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And now that you are in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
how can where do you feel most home, in Florida, or do you like your life, which I think is more relaxed, in Florida, or do you miss the hustle and bustle of Milano? Or
I mean, Milano was that. I mean, it was very extremely urban. I mean, the percentage of people per square kilometer or square mile was very high. It was a classic, I would say, European city, and no, not even European, because a lot of it was bombed during the war, and so a lot of the older architecture doesn't exist. The fascists covered up all the canals. You know, they used to be. I mean, it was Da Vinci who created those. Milano. Well, for me, it was hard to make a living there. You know, it was really difficult. You know, for me.
You lived for 20 years, if I remember well, or not.
Yeah, I was there. I think altogether maybe 22. Yeah, I got there in 1984 and I left in 2006 to go to Spain. Yeah, it was. I mean, I spent a good part of my younger adult days, you could say, in that town, and so I have a lot of good memories. And my two children were born in the hospital Macedonio Meloni, and they were the first Hemingway Italians, okay, from their mother, because unlike the United States, you don't become a citizen unless you are, your mother or your father was an Italian, okay? So they got citizenship through their mother, okay? But in fact, I like to sort of say that Michael was the first Hemingway Italian doc, okay? Denominazione controllata. Origine controllata. Yeah, there we go.
Italian.
So, I mean, is it easier living in the United States? Well, maybe in the United States of a few years ago. These days, things are getting fairly strange. I mean, rather strange, I would say. At times, I look back on Italy and I just think, wow, that was literally another universe, another way of being. Everything was just when you started to speak Italian, you entered into that world again. I suppose that is the same in any country where a person goes. My wife Christina says, when she's in Russia, it comes back to her, so to speak. Everything comes back to her, and it reminds her of when she was very young, that sort of stuff, and growing up there in that city. Milano. I've been back there a couple of times, and there's a certain nostalgia in seeing, the central part of the city, which isn't sort of built up, or but has the older architecture, and it's just memories, basically. I mean, you spend that much time in a place, and it changes you. It does change you. I mean, even if now, I'm down here in Florida after spending some 17 years in Quebec. I remember what it was like there. That changed me in a way too, but I'd say Italy, in this respect, okay, I could say that I am like my grandfather, because he was, in a certain sense, radically changed by what happened to him in the First World War when he was wounded there. And it became the base for his writing after that. It was always something to do with the war. There was always a woman. It was always going to be tragic, And it wasn't Spain that gave him that, It wasn't France that gave him that. It was Italy. And so when I look back and I think of the person that I was when I arrived there, I didn't know anything. I'd never lived outside the United States. I had only the perspective of a young American. I go to Italy and I find out things are extremely different. Family is incredibly important in your country. And you use it in ways which I never imagined, a family could be experienced, And in fact, now that I'm with an Italian, I need to speak with my hands. Okay. This is the problem with these.
What do you want? This is.
Yeah. Che cavolo vuoi? Yeah. Non mi rompere.
What do you mean? What do you want? It means everything. This.
It is. You can't just talk to a person with your hands. in your pocket or something like that. That would be horrendous. Okay.
I'm having flashbacks of my first marriage. She was Italian, and this
She
was a
was
thing all
Italian.
the time.
Yeah, the Italians like to use hands. O si fa così o non si fa. Okay. Yeah, that sort of stuff. I really liked Italy when I was, first there and everything. It was so strange, okay? And just going, I was teaching English less privately, and I was going from one person to the next. And I might teach, I don't know, 8 people, okay, do 8 hours, and it was tiring, but then I was very young, so I didn't know anybody. Oh, but I remember one thing. I was with this one. It was a student of mine, and he asked me, "Would you like to go for a coffee?" I said, "Okay." And I hadn't really been hooked on coffee. I don't think I drank it at all. Okay, and I ended up eventually about one morning. I remember I drank at least 5. Okay, espressos. Okay, and I was like this. Yeah, it's just totally gone. Yeah, but that okay, the way the women were too. Everything was a flirt in that country, and everyone was flirting, but it was never serious for the most part. It was like, how do I sort of connect with these people, or connect with that woman, that was the thing. It was much more difficult, and I mean, the Italian men that I eventually made friends with would tell me, "Oh yes, it's very difficult," and they loved American girls because they said American women are easy. We can yeah, so facile, okay, something like that. So, non fanno, non hanno una difesa, okay. They didn't put up any sort of barrier, okay, and they were very easily persuaded by Italian men who tended to be very romantic and knew how to treat a woman. And I don't think that most Italian women, American women, were used to that in the United States, because men just tended to, I don't know, ignore them compared to the Italian men,
Well, but not all Italian men are romantic.
No, that's true too.
That's a cliche. And another, and not all the Italian women are so, how can you say,
Closed.
non disponibili, cioè, during, they are not, there are a lot of Italian women which are very easy, okay?
Okay.
So it's a cliche, like spaghetti and mandolino, it's a cliche.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Well, I'm just trying to remember what it was like for me, as a 24-year-old. Okay. And in fact, my first girlfriend from Italy wasn't just Italian. She was a Canadian Italian. And I just happened to sort of get to know her because I heard her speaking English behind me, in a tram. I was coming back from a lesson or something like that. So I can't really say that I had experienced 100%, a love affair with una donna italiana, that sort of thing. It's different.
Well, not so different, because Ornella was.
Well, she was Italian. She could speak Italian, I remember at the time. Yeah, but she spoke, Canadian English. And when I met her, I mean, that was a bit different from when you met her too, because that was a number of years afterwards. Because I actually met her in 1984. Yeah, the fall that I arrived there. Yeah.
Was 1984. I was in Bari.
In Bari?
I was, yeah.
Or in Bari?
Bari. We have an open vowel, Bari, not
Bari.
Bari. Bari.
Bari is very, very nice. Yes.
You've been several. Do you remember when we went on vacation in Salento?
Yeah.
Which is near Lecce.
Victor Village, what was it? Yeah.
And you were very upset because we like go swimming and not go sailing. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And you went with Michael. You sailed with Michael with a rented catamarano. How do you say catamarano?
Yeah, I did. But do you remember that day when I went out on it was a laser, I think, okay? And there was a lot of wind, okay? And I was just zipping along until, well, it was a boat that had been used a lot. And so the sheet line, one of the pulleys on it came off. And so I had to sort of slow down and everything. But there were all these other people who were windsurfing out there too. And they were saying, go for it, vai che sei forte. Something like that, It was fun. Italy was beautiful. And the fish down there, my God, at the restaurants, fresh, fantastic, just amazing.
With mussels. Do you remember? Do you remember we were in Gallipoli? There was a storm.
Yeah, I did. We went to.
And your friend Henry was very scared of the lightning. And we arrived at the restaurant. We were soaked. And my father and Ornella went to a shop to buy dry T-shirts for us. Do you remember? And Michael had.
Yeah, we were absolutely. Basically, it was just everything we had on us was totally soaked. Yeah.
Michael had the Che Guevara T-shirt.
The Che Guevara T-shirt. Yeah, well, he's in Canada now, so I guess they like Che Guevara. So. Kind of socialist.
How was your experience in Canada? You lived a lot of years in
Canada. Well, I mean, if I had to choose between, say, living in Italy or living in Canada, I would choose Italy any day. The food was better.
And France every day instead of Canada.
Yeah. The weather, yeah. Okay, because it's European and because you've got the Gulf Stream, and so you don't get the kind of winters that they have in Montreal, which are similar to what they have in St. Petersburg or Moscow. It's a long winter up there, 5 months more or less. And it really tires you out. And I remember that I could cycle on my bicycle, on New Year's Day. Okay, maybe it was a bit overcast, maybe there was a bit of fog or something like that, but we had winter cycling clothes and that was no problem. You can do that in Montreal. I've seen, say, 20-year-olds, or Gen Z kids, out there, and they're not wearing cycling clothes. They're wearing the kind of clothes that ski pants or something like that, And I remember saying to one guy, I said, wow, that's amazing. He says, oh, look, I've got to do it because otherwise I'm going to go crazy, just sitting in the house all the day, because. And so what the Canadians do is they say, we don't give a damn. We're just going to go out and have fun. Okay. And I've never seen that before. I had never seen that before. Certainly, to give you an example, okay, in Milano, they get maybe, I don't know, an inch of snow, okay, on the roads, and everything gets stopped. Nothing moves because no one is used to driving there, okay? They think they need to have chains and this and that, and most people didn't have four-wheel drives. And I remember seeing basically all of Milano in one huge traffic jam. Well, okay. In Montreal, they don't even bother sending the plows out until you've got, at least, I don't know, pretty much your hand, okay, on the ground. Because otherwise they say it's no use, okay, because everyone is used to that there. You have to have winter tires 6 months out of the year, which are not chains. The treads are different and they're, anyway, but they're used to it. From what I hear, the Russians are the same. They're used to it. But Mediterranean cultures like Italy or France or Spain, oh, that's all different. It's a different way of living life, I'd say. Or it was. Okay, look, a lot of things have changed since the lockdowns and the vaccine rollout and all the rest of that sort of stuff. but Italy is a beautiful place.
So you have experienced living in Italy, Spain, and France.
Mm-hmm.
You have experienced the same region where your grandfather went, is it?
More or less, I'd say. Yeah, well, I mean, certainly Italy. I lived there a long time, 22 years. In Spain, I was there for a year. In France, I was only there for about 3 months. And then we decided to go back to North America, and that was Montreal. And I have to say that, it was difficult for me to get used to North America. It would have been better, I think, if we had gone to Florida or something like that. I think it's the winter in Montreal is just god awful.
I remember that Ornella said that there was too much humidity in Florida, so it wasn't for her.
Well, too much humidity. I can handle humidity. Don't worry. I
Yeah,
mean,
you're a
Take humidity
Floridian.
over sleet any day.
yeah, but I mean, when you're just uh, holed up in your house, because it's just so goddamn cold out there. Maybe it's minus 30 Celsius, which is similar to Fahrenheit. And you're just thinking, why in God's name did I ever decide to come here? It was for the kids because they would have English language schools, and whereas if I was sending into English language schools as I did in Italy and also in Spain, that cost me a lot of money.
Yeah, very expensive.
So I said, all right, let's go to Canada. And I didn't like it, but I stayed there until they finished their educations. And now Michael's 26, Jackie's 20. Time flies.
And here, Jackie.
Yeah, I found a
No,
picture of myself and Michael in the Parco Trotter, and he was on his bicycle there. Okay, and I remember teaching him how to ride it, and he was so proud, when he was able to sort of finally ride it and everything.
I remember that.
Yeah. So it's I'd say that's something special for both of them. The fact that they are Milanese, okay, and that they actually stayed there. And Michael, I mean, yeah, he learned Italian fluently. Jackie is learning it, getting it, so to speak.
Because she was 1 year old when you moved, or 2 years old when you moved to Spain, or not?
Spain. Let's see.
Was
Okay,
in
yeah,
Montreal?
she was very young. She was like 2 or 3 or something. She might have been 3 years old. Yeah.
So she didn't go to the preschool here in Italy.
Um, no, she didn't. No,
So
the first school she went to was a kindergarten in
Spain, I think.
yeah, near Malaga. We were in a small town called Rincon de la Victoria,
Yeah,
and
in Victoria. No,
and she was
I
having problems, with language and everything in the beginning and everything, and so she would uh, sound like uh, a Spanish kid and everything, but she was just sort of basically imitating the sounds. Okay. Yeah.
and it's quite
Kind of like me
difficult.
and my French.
Yeah. You were saying it, Tal?
No, I say that Spanish is very difficult because they have 1,000 irregular verbs.
Spanish?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
it's very difficult. It seems like Italian, but they are not
Oh,
similar.
no. I mean, yeah, you can get by. Okay. I mean, if you know enough Spanish and everything, you can always throw in an Italian word and they'll more or less understand.
Yeah, but they can.
Sometimes. Okay.
No, okay. It's quite difficult. It's not difficult for an Italian, but it's quite. Um, they are different because, for example, if you say burro in Italian, burro is butter in American, no?
It's a donkey in
But
Spanish, I
burro
think.
in Spain, burro is donkey.
Yeah.
Right.
And butter in Spanish is mantequilla, so it's very different.
So give some burro to the burro. Okay.
That's it.
And don't be boring about it. There you go. Be
Yeah,
interesting.
but they are quite similar to Italian Spanish people, more than French people.
French are very proud of their culture. Right now, they're very angry at their government, but then they usually are angry at the government. Yeah.
5 revolutions in the past 2 weeks over there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they can't stand Macron. Okay. They couldn't stand him when they were all involved in the Gilets jaunes. Okay. And they were having all those protests, riots. Okay. The Americans get all upset about, J6. And I just think, and yet they go over to France and they say, oh, this is so European. I love it and everything. But they don't care. I mean, that the French are having a riot, okay, and they were having it every Saturday. I mean, it was.
We are having two, because I don't know if you hear the noise over here.
Mhm.
There's a, I think it's a manifestazione, how do you
A
say?
demonstration.
Demonstration. And I think it's pro-Palestine. And we had another
Still.
one yesterday. Yeah. They always come here near my house. I don't know why. Every Saturday and sometimes even on Sundays.
Maybe they think that Mavio is Palestino.
Mavio now is with our grandson, because we have a grandson.
Oh, really?
It's a horse,
Oh, the horse, right? Yeah. I thought, wow, okay. Sarah got busy.
Sarah is really busy in a competition now with her horse. She does show jumping, And now Mavio is with his favorite grandson. My husband he is a groom, very good groom, I can say. Yeah.
She's still winning all the gold medals and stuff like that.
She isn't winning gold medals, but she's very good at. And,
she's impressive. I mean, you've shown me a lot of videos of her in her various, gare, and
show jumping races, no?
she has that perfect sort of, figure for that. She's very tall. Okay.
Yeah, she's 1 meter and 80 centimeters. My daughter.
Well, that's 3 centimeters more than me. It's tall. Yeah. She's about 6 foot or something, or close to it. 5'11" maybe.
She's very good at show jumping, but our horse wasn't very well last month, so they are recovering. They are starting from just from the beginning to jump, and now he is well. And I think
so. Her horse was sick for a while, and now he's getting better. I see. Okay.
He was also injured, and so he is well.
Maybe
they are all happy in the stables, and so this is our Sundays are always at the stables or in a competition, far from the madding crowd of Milano.
There is one thing that I really appreciated about Italy, and I left the United States, in part because my family, my mother, my father, they were not exactly stable, shall we say. Dad was bipolar, my mother was schizophrenic, and the other thing was just my last name, and it's a great last name, and I'm proud, of my grandfather and everything. But I was trying at the time to, find my own voice as a writer and everything, and I really appreciated the discretion of the Italians. A lot of people maybe think that the Italian are sort of, they just get in your way and they're always talking and everything else like that. Actually, I found them very discreet, and they respected, my privacy, and never sort of bugged me at all about who I was related to. And when they would find out, my students, for instance, they would say, "Well, he's John." I mean, big deal. That was it. So that was a really nice thing about Italy. It allowed me to mature as a writer, but also to put aside, other things which have been rather difficult for me to deal with in the United States, being Ernest Hemingway's one of his grandchildren. But it wasn't even so much that. I mean, I don't blame Ernest for anything. I think it was my parents, basically. And the sense of family that you found all over the place was it was healing, because I think family is probably the biggest lesson that I learned, was that your family is the most important thing in your life, John.
Yeah, that's right. You met my family, you met my father, you met my mother, my cousins, if you remember, and they were all very fond of you, not as a Hemingway, but as a person. So, and even we friends, we knew at the end that you were an Hemingway, but it didn't matter for us. You were John. You were John, who came with us at my, how do you say saggio? Do you remember saggio at school? There was
a kind of a play or something, or
no, an orchestra. My daughter was in a musical school.
Oh, okay.
When you came to his her. I don't remember what concert. There was a concert.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because she played the guitar in that concert, and you were there like a normal person, like you were John, even if you were an Hemingway, and you came there. You stayed with her for 3 hours. If I remember well. Then we went to a restaurant. You were a normal friend. You were like us, not.
But it is exactly what I wanted, basically. Just to.
We went together on vacation at the seaside. You had a normal life here in Italy, I suppose.
Well, no, it was great, and I guess I should, ringraziare l'Italia. I should thank Italy, for that, because
not Italy. You have to thank us, not Italy.
Well, yes, all my friends, all the people I knew. It was.
You tasted grappa. Do you remember?
Oh, grappa! Oh God, yeah. Was that the day when Mavio and I were just sitting on the couch there and getting drunk on grappa? I remember that. Yeah, that was funny. I think it was in one of the visits that I made.
One of your last visit was when you present your book.
Yeah.
The Italian version of Strange Tribe.
Yeah, in 2018, I think it was. Yeah.
Bookstore here in Milano.
Mm-hmm.
We met. You were with Christina.
Yeah.
I remember that it was the first time I saw your second wife. It was in October, if I remember well.
Yeah, it was. It was. It was interesting.
I don't remember the year. It was before COVID, of course.
Yeah, no, it was the fall of 2018. Yeah, l'autunno.
Yeah.
Most of the time we spent up in Veneto or Friuli. Yeah, we were also in where is it? The place where they have the Barcolana, the Trieste. Yeah, we were there for a day or two, I think.
It's very beautiful. Your grandfather went there in Trieste too.
Oh yeah, to Trieste? I didn't know.
Yeah.
I know he went to Lignano. Okay.
okay, Sagradora, but even to Trieste.
Yeah, and we were also in Cortina d'Ampezzo. Yeah, we went there for a bit. Yeah, and Caorle. Yeah,
Friuli, I think it's.
no, Caorle was in Veneto there. Yeah. Yeah, he had a friend who was a Count Keckler, and I think they used to go duck hunting there in the marshes. Yeah.
And in the First World War, he was with the. I don't remember. There was a group of Italian soldiers. They were. They
Alpini?
were 17. Not the Alpini. They were 17 years old. My great grandfather was one of them. Arditi.
Oh, the Arditi. The Arditi, weren't they?
They were young soldiers who weren't, who were, I don't remember if 17 years old or 18 years old. They were very young, and they joined the army. And my great grandfather was one of them. And I remember, I read that your grandfather too was with them during the First World War. I mean,
in the First World War, he was with the American Red Cross. He wasn't really a soldier, but
no, I know, but he was in the same. I don't remember, in the same. Very near the Arditi. Maybe they were at in the same spot. I don't remember exactly where, but I remember that he is connected with the Arditi soldiers, Italian soldiers. Yeah, they made the same experience. I don't remember well. So.
Yeah, he did. He met a lot of people who were Alpini. I think the American Red Cross for a while was in where is it? Monte Grappa? No.
Yeah.
Bassano di Grappa, yes. Okay. In fact, where they have the Hemingway Museum there, that is where the American Red Cross was quartered before they went out into the battlefronts and everything. So a lot of history up there for Ernest, for the family, and I like that. It's a beautiful place, beautiful country. The mountains are tremendous, and then you've got the sea. So it's a perfect place. I can't really say enough about Veneto and Friuli, Venezia Giulia. Yeah, really nice.
And you made another experience like your grandfather in Pamplona. I remember that you always went to Pamplona for la Feria de San Fermin.
True. Yeah, I've been there, I think, 10 times now? Thereabouts. And it's fun. It's good because, the thing about Pamplona is that you make friends, and they keep coming back, and they're always your friends. That's it. And it's wonderful to see them because you haven't seen them for a year or maybe even more if you've missed it, and it's a great fiesta. It's absolutely crazy, and yeah, running with the bulls. Yeah, I've done that. And I know a lot of friends of mine who've actually been gored by the bulls, and so. But they have a passion for it, Me, I used to do it a lot when I didn't understand how dangerous it was. Then after a friend of mine got gored and everything, I was like, what the hell are you doing? And every time I go down there, I would say, in Italian, chi me lo fa fare? Who's making me do this? Yeah, it's like, and then I would say, tengo familia. I've got kids. How can I be running at my age and everything? I'm just going to be, a bullseye for one of these huge animals that weigh anywhere from, I don't know, 400 to 700 kilos,
But these are all experiences that enrich your way of writing them, no? Because
definitely. I mean, I think being in Italy there changed me, changed all the things that how I saw things with people, how I interpreted the reality around me. Ditto for, the time I lived in Spain and the many times I came back for the fiesta. It's something that changes you, and then you are no longer, what you were before you left the country, before you decided to explore a different place, which has a different mind. Because when you speak the language, you're speaking another interpretation of reality, if you will. Yeah, it's very uh, invigorating and poetic. Yeah, the Italian language is very poetic. There's that to it.
Oh, you
It is
have to do
beautiful.
other experiences in order to write other books.
Yeah, yeah. Although I haven't been able so far to write an Italian novel. I mean, I did not get wounded in the war. I did not meet this woman, and and I got her pregnant, and then I decided to take her to Switzerland, and then she had baby came out. I don't know what, stillborn, and then she died, and whenever I think that I'm just getting a bit too dramatic and a bit too romantic, all I have to do is just look at my grandfather's books and say, no, he was there before you, John. Yeah.
But your father was your father. You are another being with your experiences, your way of writing, and you have. I think that you have a beautiful style, writing style, because you are simple. You describe everything with a simplicity that is very catching. I don't know if I speak well in English.
Yeah.
And
I mean, catching, it's very, it gets people's attention, you could
very
say. Yeah.
good at narrating something, and like in your latest novel, it was very catchy. I read it.
Oh, the Murder on the Florida Straits?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun writing that. Yeah. Because, I mean, Miami is where I was born and raised. Key West, I don't know how many times I've been there. My parents used to drive me down there in their VW Bug, and I would fall asleep in that back area of the Bug, which had no comforts whatsoever. It had something like a rug or some itchy rug, but it would just put us to sleep. Sometimes my sister and myself, we would both be in that area there. Yeah, South Florida is great. It's got its problems, but then just about everywhere in America has its problems these days.
Yeah. John, you're planning on a sequel to this book, aren't you?
Doing one right now, yeah. Basically, well, right now I have a provisional title and it's Ron Echeverria. Okay. And so we have this sort of American Cuban guy who is the brother of one of the guys who died in the first book. Mm-hmm. But to discover the rest of it, you'll have to read it. And for me to discover the rest of it, I'll have to write it. Yeah. So now I'm averaging about 500 words a day, but I've decided to up it, to push it further to maybe doing 1,000 words per day, which would be about 2 pages for me. If I can do that, I'll have it finished in a couple of months at the max. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Great.
You'll have it ready to go for Hemingway days.
Thank you. Grazie moltissimo. Tante grazie.
Grazie mille. Grazie mille.
Grazie mille. Sì, sì, sì. Vabbè. Sti belle donne italiane, oh mamma mia. Specialmente quelle del sud.
Granny, I'm an old granny now.
An old granny. Ah, okay. All right. Well, I think probably we should just give you a round of applause, okay? Because and give me a round of
Grazie.
applause for discovering that I hadn't even plugged in my own headphones. Okay.
All
I had
kinds of
it.
technical difficulties. We're going to blame them on John. I'll
Yeah,
take it
yeah,
at the beginning, but it's all John's fault.
it was Debbie's fault. Okay.
Okay,
He
well, yeah, we'll
thought that
blame
it
Debbie.
was my fault because I'm a woman. Okay.
No, this happens to me, and I keep forgetting how to do that, But we're becoming more technological, more exact, more minimalistic in the setup and everything. And soon, we'll be up there with I don't know, Joe Rogan or something. Yeah, you got smack. Don't be stupid. There's another one.
We'll get it all put together. Antonella,
All right.
it was a pleasure to meet you. Thank you very much for your time today.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure was ours, really.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope to have to speak well enough in English, American English.
Oh no, your English is perfect. No problem.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You're fine. No worries
You can
there.
Understand. Okay.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
my Italian is probably a bit rusty too. I need a couple of days there, drinking grappa with Mavio.
Yeah.
Italian with me. Okay.
And then we'd have to go to La Giada too. Yeah.
Okay.
All righty.
Antonella, do us a favor. Don't hang up. It's got to catch up for a second or so here.
Okay.
So, all right.
Yeah.
Take care, everybody. We'll